Hello and welcome to the Oval Coffee channel. Thank you guys so much again for joining me on yet another video. I really appreciate you guys being here to support and watch yet again another Oval Coffee video. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit on how to make not the perfect brew, but how to make the quickest and fastest brew while you're at home. I know sometimes in the morning it's a little tough because you got to wake up, you need your routine. Your routine may include making a cup of coffee. So I wanted to give you guys the fastest way that I think that you can make a cup of coffee while you're at home. So here, without further ado, let's get into the video. We're going to talk a little bit about what I'm going to do to make a cup of coffee for you guys, and also just to make one really quickly. So I use this kettle. It's an electric kettle from BREW, I think the name of it is. So it's this electric kettle here, and I do like it a lot because one, you have the light in the front here and it turns on so that you know that the kettle is on and working. And then there's a little button here on the side where you can see it there, and this button on the side here kind of lets you know that once you put it down, it will pop up automatically, which makes it amazing because at that point you know that your coffee or your water is finished boiled and ready to go. So this again is an electric kettle, and there's many places that you can actually find this kettle, but we actually got this one at World Market here where we are locally. So this electric kettle, I actually am going to put then water in it. And what I do to put the water in this kettle is I actually use, if you don't see behind me, bottled water. And the reason why I use bottled water, because the flavor is a lot cleaner. Well, not flavor, but the water is a lot cleaner, crisper. I could use tap water as well from the faucet behind me, but I choose not to because you get a cleaner, crisper taste when you use either bottled water or mineral water because that is actually just a better way to use and have the best tasting coffee. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do with this bottled water. So I'm actually just going to take this here and I'm going to open up the kettle, and this is kind of what it looks like on the inside there. So there's a little spout here. I'm not sure what it really does, but it's some sort of temperature control and it does whatever magic it does. But I'm going to open this bottle of water and I'm just going to pour in this entire thing of water here. So I'm going to pour that in because what I want to do is get this water to a boil. And once I do that, I'm just going to press that button there, and literally, as you can see, the light turns on red. And because the light turns on red, you automatically know that this thing is ready to go, that it is going to boil your water pretty quickly. Just a regular ordinary bottle of water too, actually. So it's just whatever spring water that you can find, use that in your kettle. So the reason why I really like this kettle is because this kettle, it's really nice because it actually allows you to just kind of set it and leave it, and you know when it's ready because it will pop up. We actually do have as well in our kitchen, we have a regular kettle where you can put on an electric stovetop or you can put on a gas stovetop, and we do utilize that as well sometimes. But like I said, today is all about the fastest way that you can make a cup of coffee, and it's going to be using an electric kettle just to make it quick, fast, and in a hurry. So while I'm doing this and letting that boil, I like to get some of my other things prepared and ready to go because I use two different methods, but I'm going to show you the fastest method that I use to make a cup of coffee. So I have my grounds here, and these are pre-ground already, and I like to grind it fresh right in the morning so that every time I have a cup of coffee, I know that I'm getting fresh coffee because the grounds are fresh. So you can see here is the grounded coffee, and again, you want to get it to that you want to get it to like a sea salt kind of texture. You want it to kind of be like just like really not too fine, but a medium coarse grind. So I will put on my I'll put on the measurer. I'm the scale. Sorry, I'll put on the scale, and then I'm actually, and you can hear the coffee really getting to a roaring boil right now, so it's pretty good. What we're going to do right now is we're going to measure out the grams. So I put that on here, this cup there, to measure out the grams, and then I actually am going to scoop out my first scoop, nice hunking scoop, and I'm going to pour it in there. And you want to make sure that the scale is actually at 0, because you want to not calculate the actual bowl that you're putting your coffee grounds into. So that brings me to about 9, and then another scoop, that brings me to about 14, and then probably the last scoop here, I didn't get everything, but that might bring me right up to 17 grams. Perfect, right on the number. So that brings you to right about at 17 grams of coffee, exactly what I need for my cup of coffee. So now that I have my measurements of coffee, what I'm actually going to do as I let this sit and cool, I am going to get my my filter that I'm going to use for my cup of coffee. We actually were able to procure a brown Chemex filter, which sometimes is not that easy to find. I don't know if you guys have had this issue before as well, but for us, it's definitely been an issue to find a brown filter for your coffee grounds, because usually they sell the white ones, but sometimes with the brown ones you get a little bit of a better flavor in your coffee. So we like to get the brown ones as much as we can whenever we can. So I'm going to grab the Chemex that I have behind me, and what I'm going to do is a lot of people will measure out the Chemex and the water to ratio, but like I said, I want it to be a quick way in order for you to make coffee. And while this is pretty hot, I'm letting it get to about a minute as a cool down, because you don't want to put piping hot water on your coffee. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, while this is cooling down in here, I'm actually going to just pre-wet the filter. And when you pre-wet the filter, what you're actually doing is making sure that rinsing the filter so you get a nice pure taste when you do put your grounds into this filter. So I'm actually just going to use this water and just go around and rinse it just like that. Give it a nice good rinse. Perfect. And again, what I do is I just let it sit, it's rinsed, and it looks like this is a little bit more wet. Before it was all this like really lighter color, but now you can see it has that wetness to it. So that's what it looks like. And all I do is lift this up a little bit and discard the excess water. So that's what's the beauty of when you're working in your kitchen, is that you're able to kind of just chuck that water right then and there. So if you make coffee in your kitchen, probably many people make coffee in their kitchen, but if you do, and when you do, you have that sink right there in order to just dispose of your coffee. So after I have that now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure out the water in here so that I can get to about 300 milliliters of water. So I want to find my milliliters. This only goes to about 250 milliliters. It's a smaller measuring cup. So basically what I'll do is I will just get to that 250 milliliter mark. And then obviously all I need for that 300 milliliters is another 50 milliliter. So once I have this all set and ready to go, and I have my Chemex here ready to go, I have my water here that's been sitting for about a minute to cool down, because again, you want to get it to the coolest temperature that you can. I'm going to have my grounds ready to put inside of this filter. So this is the grounds here, and I like to just pour it right on in so that you guys can see. So this is the first one. So this is the first drop there. Second drop. So the second drop is in, and then I'm just going to shake all this in because I know that that is 17 grounds. And then from there, I literally just kind of pat down the surface so that it's nice and flat in there. Literally, that's all I do. So from there, what I like to do after I've done that, I've kind of like to just get everything out of the way so that I don't knock anything over, because again, I want to make the fastest cup of coffee possible. From there, what I'll do is I'll grab my water that's been sitting for about 2 minutes now, and I will just go on in a nice circular motion. And I'll just cover the top portion. Just kind of let that seep through the bottom here. So you can see it coming down the bottom, dripping down, drip, drip, drip down. It's really cool, and you start to see the coffee blooming, and you smell that amazing coffee aroma. And if you've had Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee from OVELcoffee.com, then you'll know that you're having a really amazing, smooth cup of coffee that tastes like chocolate and blackberries, a little undertone of currants. It is just such an amazing, smooth cup of coffee. And then you have that light taste of floral as well, some floral notes in there. So it is really an enjoyable cup of coffee. I really enjoy drinking Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, not just because we do sell Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee on OVELcoffee.com, but because we just love the taste of it and love the alkalinity of it. So that's why we drink it so much. Probably we shouldn't drink it so much, but we do anyways. So after you've gotten that first go round of the water, you'll just want to go back in and fill it up again and kind of do that, and it agitates it. I've seen people where some baristas will go in and stir the coffee around so that all the grounds are being percolated and everything is working. You get the most flavor and aromatics. But for me, I actually like to just see the bubbles in here, and I'm gonna get a close-up on here just so you guys can see kind of what this looks like when it's going here. It's pretty cool when you see how the water and the bubbles and the chemistry, the makeup of what coffee looks like. And when you actually find out that coffee isn't just a brown bean, when you find out that coffee is actually a plant and it grows cherries, and inside of those cherries you'll find 2 beans, and or sometimes you would actually find 1 bean, which is considered or called a pea berry. So if you've ever heard of pea berries, it is basically a malfunction of the bean, and it fuses together and it just creates 1 bean instead of 2 beans. So coffee is just such an interesting product. It has an interesting flavor. If you are not just a commercial drinker of coffee, but you also drink specialty coffee, then you'll know that flavor is so much different than when you just have a normal cup of coffee that's sold commercially. So I'm actually going to put in that last 50 milliliters of water in here. Milliliter side, here we go. So that last 50 milliliters of water, and from there I'm going to almost finish making my cup of coffee. And again, this is the fastest way that I make a cup of coffee. There's other ways to make coffee. There's ways where you really get into the science of making coffee, where you're down to the number and the wire. But when you're working a 9 to 5 and you're working every day, the last thing you want to do, for some, not all, but for some, the last thing you want to do is really dive into the numbers. You just want to get that cup of coffee so it can wake you up and you have an amazing experience. Because for me, it's all about routine, and it's all about experience, and it's all about what you can actually bring to when you're drinking your coffee. So I know that sometimes coffee can just be such a, not always, but a spiritual experience or a religious experience or just an experience in general. So you want to be able to just really sip and enjoy a cup of coffee and have such an amazing time and moment with your coffee when you're drinking it, whoever you're talking to, before you log into work. I know a lot of us are still working from home, and so when you're able to just make a nice quick cup of coffee, and as you can see, I'm just going to lift this up. You can see this here. I've almost finished making an entire cup of coffee, And here I am just talking to you all while I'm making this amazing cup of coffee, and that I'm going to be able to enjoy, even eat it with a pastry, or or even with a sandwich or something like that before I start my day. Because usually in the mornings I do like to either wake up and do some yoga before I start my day, or some meditation before I start my day, and then I'll have a cup of coffee. So for me, that's my routine, and for you guys, I hope and to hear more about what your routine is on how you make your cup of coffee in the morning. So once you're done, I literally will wait till it drips down. I just remove this, put this right in here, because again, I want my cup of coffee right away in the morning. I'll get my favorite mug and pour my cup of coffee. Woohoo! Oh yeah, that's a strong cup. Make a mess that I'll have to clean up later, and then I will sip and enjoy. That's a really smooth cup of coffee. Really smooth cup of coffee. So again, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this helped your routine in the morning to make a cup of coffee. And this again is a pour over method, and this is the method that we use in order to make our coffee really quickly in the morning. Again, there's plenty of other ways to make coffee. There's plenty of other machines and devices and things that you can use to make your cup of coffee, but this is the fastest way that we like to make our coffee when we're using the pour over method. So again, thank you so much for watching our channel. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for really I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm getting so emotional. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us. It has been such a great experience to share this journey with you all and to share this experience with you all. I'm so happy, so grateful. We're so happy. So thank you again for watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.